Today we're going to discuss the Pythagorean Theorem. Now, the Pythagorean Theorem is a formula used to find missing side lengths for a right triangle. This is only used for a right triangle. So I will make my right triangle. The two sides where the right angle forms are called legs. That is labeled A and B. The longest side is C, and that is called the hypotenuse. It is the longest side. It is diagonal, and it is across from the right angle. Okay, so the formula we use is a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. This is the Pythagorean theorem. Now, if we had time teaching this unit, I would show you that we would draw a perfect square off of each side of this triangle and find the area of those squares. So the area of the square off of leg A would be a squared. The area of the square off of B would be b squared. And when you add those two areas together, it would give you the area of that tilted square on the hypotenuse, which is C. So the sum of the area of the legs is going to equal the area of the hypotenuse. Okay, we're going to do a couple of examples. I'm going to draw my right triangle. We have 5 inches here, and we have 12 inches here. This is A, and this is B. You always label your triangle A, B, and C. Now, A and B are interchangeable. You don't always have to put A on the vertical line. You can move it to the horizontal line if you want to. A and B are interchangeable. C is not. C always has to be your hypotenuse. Always write the formula down. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And substitute now. So my A is 5 squared. My B is 12 squared. 25 plus 144 equals c squared. Now at this point, when we see that 25, if I was to draw a perfect square off of that leg, it would have an area of 25 because it has a side length of 5. If I was to draw a perfect square off of this leg, it would be 144 units squared because 12 squared is 144. When I add these two together, you are going to get the area of that tilted square off of the hypotenuse. So when I add these two together, I'm going to get 169 is equal to c squared. Now this represents the area. So that tilted square off of C is going to have an area of 169 units. But that is not our side length. Notice C is singular, no squared. C is squared. So we want to take the square root of both sides. When we take the square root of both sides, we would have 13 equals C. This is your side length. So 13 inches. Okay, one more example. Okay, so my triangle. Always draw your triangle. When we get into word problems, we'll be drawing that out as well. A, B, C. Now this time I have my C. It is 15 inches. My A is 9 inches. So I'm looking for my B this time. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A squared is 9, so 9 squared plus B squared is equal to 15 squared. So I want to find B this time. So 81 plus B squared equals 225. So the area off of A, if I was to draw that square, 9 by 9, it's going to give me 81 for my area. If I draw my tilted square off of that hypotenuse, it's going to give me 225 for the area. Now we have to go back to solving our equations. So we're going to have B squared is equal to 144. Take the square root of both sides. B is equal to 12. So my B is going to be 12 inches. Remember, A and B must be smaller than C. Now, they're not always going to come out as a perfect square. So if we have another triangle, and we have 3 centimeters, and we have 8 centimeters, and we're looking for C. So this would be A, and this would be B. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. 3 squared plus 8 squared equals C squared. 9 plus 64 equals C squared. So 9 plus 64 is 73 equals C squared. This is the area. So the area of C, if we drew a perfect square off of that, would have an area of 73. Now we have to take that area and take the square root in order to find the side length. So C is going to be approximately equal to 8.5. Now we estimated these earlier on in the year, but if you need to, and you obviously you can, definitely use a calculator. So this is going to be 8.5 centimeters. Now, does that make sense? Is that my longest side? So if one side is 3 and the other side is 8, then my hypotenuse has to be the longest side at 8.5 centimeters.